Orange County Human Relations is a nonprofit organization that was founded in 1971, made up of people from different backgrounds, all working together to fight the same battles. They are a group of outstanding members that help teach the public how to overcome the injustice that continues to exist in their communities. Their mission is to foster mutual understanding among residents and eliminate prejudice, intolerance, and discrimination in order to make Orange County a better place for all people to live, work, and do business. This organization is made up of 3 branches: the Dispute Resolution Program, Bridges Team, and Community Building. Throughout this video, representatives from each branch will pop up to answer a few of the questions made for them. It is important to note that every member from this organization gives more than 100% towards every issue they address and the different projects they brainstorm about before the beginning of a new school year. In OC Human Relations, hate crime falls under the work of Commission. Today's special guest is the Hate Crime Prevention Program Coordinator and the author of the agency's Hate Crime Report. Please welcome Don Hahn.
I don't know why people commit hate crime, but they do commit hate crime, right? So that means when we go out and reach out to the victim, the impact that they have on people or individuals is very, it creates a lot of unsafe feeling to be even in your own home. Make sense? Mm-hmm. To be in your own community. So it raises a lot of questions about your own safety, your own well-being, your own community. Question about how protected I am from, how good is our law enforcement to protect me and allow me and my family to be safe. Those types of impact happen at the individual level, right? But as a community, we also feel the impact. For example, if a swastika is being vandalized or defacing a mosque, a temple, right? A Jewish temple, for example. Well, not just that temple is feeling the effect, but the whole community that know about it, right? If you're asking me, why do people act and why do people report hate crime? It's because they feel so vulnerable and they need support. And it also takes a lot of courage for them to do that, because when you are at your most vulnerable and your fear, sometimes it's preventing you from even reaching out to law enforcement and say, hey, look, our family is experiencing hate crime. All from the sheriff department, the first thing is I do an intake, so they tell me what happened, what type of crime, where and who's involved. So my job is actually to ask them if it's okay for me to contact the victim. Have they give the victim a heads up that, hey, we have this person that can call and support you. So I will call the victim and then asking them, first of all, to let them know that we're sorry this kind of unfortunate event have happened to you, but this doesn't represent Orange County. Like you, there are a lot of good people in our county, and unfortunately this thing happened. Are you okay? How are you doing? Is your family okay? What more can we do to support you? And also letting them know that they're not alone. Right? Letting them know that we're here to support them in any way so they can feel safe again and feel like this is still my community, right? Or still my home. So that being said, aside from that, if they need any other assistance, if I could connect them to different services that can provide their assistance to them, then that's our role to do, is making sure that we make that connection. So I made a phone call. I called this lady. I said, I'm calling from the Orange County Human Relations Commission because I just got your number from the sheriff department. They just responded to your hate crime that happened to you. And she thanked me for calling, for outreaching to her, and at the same time also letting me know that at first she was hesitating to make that phone call. She woke up to see the vandalism in her driveway. She told her neighbor about it, didn't know what to do and didn't know how to report. and didn't want to report because she's scared of the backlash that's going to happen to her and her family. So she waited until almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon to have the courage to call the sheriff department, to call the police department. And sometimes it takes people that long, and that's why it's so important for us to be able to get out and provide a service and provide the support to the victim. I feel like there's still a lot more education that we need to do to the public to know how to report hate crime, right? And what is the difference between hate crime and hate incidents? Since our agency collecting vote, there are a lot of numbers out there that, just like a national survey and data have shown that, hate crime and hate incidents are so underreported. It's because, one, people may not know how to. Two, maybe people are fear of the backlash of the same unfortunate event that might happen to them again if they report it, right? And also maybe the fear of talking or working with law enforcement, right? And that could be another key factor, is maybe language barrier, right, to report hate crime. And overall, I think it's just unaware and the lack of aware of how to make a report. So the hashtag HateFreeOC campaign was created by the OC Human Relations Council. It's a public awareness campaign tried to promote and the importance of diversity and eliminating prejudice and intolerance and discrimination in our county, right? This is a public awareness campaign that actually encouraged people to know hate, right? Know what hate is, understand what it is, and how could we take action to eliminate hate in our county. And that campaign has been so impactful in our community, and targeting youth from 13 to 21. And that's a very crucial group of folks that, if we want to create change, we've got to start when they're young, right? So the campaign have launched in almost a year now, and it's been very, very powerful to support our work in hate crime prevention.
So, how is it that the young teens become aware of these issues and how to deal with them? Well, it all comes down to the Outstanding Bridges team and the activities that they have created. Currently, a total of 20,393 students from 17 different schools are participating in creating a safe campus to ensure the equality and respect within one another. The Bridges program helps the students talk about school issues and topics about society. It is a place where the students are able to voice their thoughts and have people listen to what they have to say. To represent the Human Relations Specialist team, we have two wonderful women. First off is someone who has been involved with the Bridges program since her middle school years and believes that young people can use the tools of education to help make their communities a better place. Last but not least is someone who is committed to working with students and families to provide equitable opportunities for success throughout education and community-centered resources. Please welcome Kathy Tran and Cynthia Tejera. So I've heard that you've been involved with the Bridges programs from a young age. What would you say is the important thing of Bridges?
I have been involved with Bridges since middle school and high school, and I believe that it was really important to me, and one of the important parts of Bridges is just the idea that someone is coming onto your campus and helping you become a leader and show why we should invest in helping make our schools a better place. And I think that there's a lot of great teachers, great administration, great students on campus, but it really takes sometimes like a special person in Bridges to come and spark that fuel or fire in students, teachers, and administrations who want to make a change on campus.
I was wondering, what kind of activities are done within Bridges?
So Bridges is our school's program here at OC Human Relations, and the activities that we do really depends on the needs of the schools. So we have Bridges programs in middle schools and high schools across Orange County, and the way that we determine what activities we do at the schools is really dependent on the assessment of the schools. So at the beginning of the school year, what we do is we go in and we assess the school climate, and then depending on the needs of the schools, then along with the administrators, teachers, students, we plan and organize events with them. So at one of the schools this last year, students wanted to focus on mental health and felt that mental health was a very important topic to talk about at their school. So what the students did was they organized a therapy pet event. So they had a therapy pet event at their high school, and it was 4 therapy dogs that came along and also 1 therapy parrot. So someone actually brought a parrot as well, and it was really neat because we had like 10 students come in at a time or 15 students come in at a time and have time with the animals while also discussing like how the pets came to be therapy pets with the owners.
So would you say that students are in charge of leading some of the programs?
Yes, definitely. So with the help of Bridges staff and the site coordinators at the school, students do take the lead. So that's a big component of Bridges, is that we want students to really develop their leadership skills. So when we do plan these activities and these events, we definitely support students throughout the process, but we do have them take the lead and have them really voice what they want out of these activities and how they want these activities to look on their campuses.
What do you believe is the reason behind Bridges' success in schools?
Yeah, I believe Bridges is successful in schools only when there's an investment from all partners on campus. So that's the one unique thing about Bridges, is that we believe that not one person can change the whole school. It's not just students, not just parents, not just teachers or administration. It takes everyone to get on board together. And so I believe the success of Bridges happens when all of those partners come together and realize that they want to make schools a safe and inclusive space for everyone involved. I think that I've definitely seen that during my time as a youth, but also as my short time here as staff, I've definitely seen the great work previous staff have done, and also the current staff right now, what they do with their schools. It's just really amazing how they try to connect everyone together, and that it builds a sense of community at your school that you're part of Bridges, that I hope I can implement in the schools to come.
Can you tell us about some programs that the students can participate in, such as Walk in My Shoes Conference and Bridges Youth Leadership Institute, and lastly, Human Relations Ambassador Program?
Yes. So throughout the school year, we work with students to help implement projects and campaigns that they want to address on campus. So we're there throughout the whole school year. However, we have 3 other amazing opportunities for students to get involved outside of campus. One of them being our 2 annual Walk in My Shoes conference. We host one in the fall for high school students, and we host one in the spring for junior high students. This conference brings together students from all over Orange County. They get to skip school for a day out for a field trip and come to a college campus to learn from workshops, keynote speakers around the idea of what does Bridges look like across Orange County. And so some of the topics that a lot of students love is, we talk about what are healthy relationships, we talk about diversity in schools, we talk about bullying, LGBTQ issues, and so it's bringing around these concepts and ideas to students and mixing them all together so that they have an idea of what it's like to walk in someone else's shoes, to get someone else's perspective so that they can bring that perspective back to campus and make it a better school. Secondly, we host our Youth Leadership Institute in the summer. It's a week-long summer program where we host about 20 students from all over Orange County who want to become youth leaders and organizers. So we are there working on leadership skills with them about what it means to be a leader, what skills does it take to implement a project on campus, and so we're giving them the tools, and they're also sharing how they would implement those tools on campus. So we just finished that this summer. And then last but not least, we have HRAP, which stands for the Human Relations Ambassador Program. It's our year-long internship where students, after they finish summer camp, our Youth Leadership Institute, they can apply into our internship and work with us throughout the whole year. We meet twice a month, and the goal of HRAP is to have our interns or ambassadors become spokespeople around human relations issues. So every week we focus on a different issue in society that they feel is important, and we talk about the tools and ways that we would maybe address that issue in society. And the goal is that they will take what they've learned around these several issues to implement back in their schools or help present those topics in future conferences or in future workplaces that they'll be at. And so those are some of what we do as ambassadors. And so overall, these 3 programs really work well together because we mostly spend our time throughout the school year at school sites. However, we give students all across Orange County opportunities to plug in through these 3 different programs, just in case that they don't have a Bridges program at their school.
Why do you believe students should join the Bridges program?
Students join the Bridges program at their sites for different reasons. And I see it, right? Like every school is different and every school has different needs that they've expressed or things they want to see at their campus. But honestly, like, I believe it's because students understand and they see the importance of having these conversations about equality, about what equity means, about respect, and just being able to feel safe at their school campuses. And they understand that right now we're living in a time where that's not necessarily the case. And so seeing youth really, use their agency to create those events, to raise that awareness about these issues is so empowering, and they really set the example for other youth at their school. And that's something that I think back, and if I saw that as a high school student, that's definitely something that I would want to be a part of. And it's just so necessary to have and to allow students to have that space to do that. And I think that's ultimately what the Bridges program does and why students should join.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Restorative Schools program?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Desiree Camposano, and I'm one of the restorative justice specialists at one of our school partnerships locally in Tustin Unified. Our team is a growing group of educators that really serve within these partnerships, and so we're all throughout a few different school districts in Orange County, currently Anaheim and Tustin, and we're also currently in middle schools. And so we provide training and mentorship in an ongoing way that really integrates us into the school campus and culture, where we're really trying to support educators to commit to incorporating restorative practices into their everyday, into their learning communities, right? And so we work with administrators, counselors, staff, teachers, and students to intentionally build community and support the resolution of conflicts they may face. But again, our focus is to reframe the way that we value and uphold relationships, respect, and responsibility. And so we simultaneously really encourage folks in specific mindset shift around recommitting with more intention to the ways in which we sort of embrace the experiences of the students that we serve and that we get to work with, as well as the knowledge and skills that they bring with them into our schools. And so doing this really supports us to not only enhance the schooling experience for young people, but for enhancing the teaching and learning and facilitating experience for all the educators that make schools function.
Can you give us an example about how you support conflict resolutions in schools?
Yes, so there are many different approaches that we encourage our teachers and educators and youth to work with to support them and working through any challenges that they face, particularly relationally. So some of the things that we provide as a resource to teachers through our trainings are the use of circle work in building community with young people, and that could be just to get to know one another and just to build a sense of belonging in a school. But that can also look like circle keeping to work through some of the challenges or conflicts that youth and adults may be facing in schools. In addition to that, we provide them with some theory and knowledge behind socio-emotional learning, using iMessages to clearly communicate about challenges that are arising in relation to one another, as well as restorative questions and affective statements, and just being more open to learning from one another in the process instead of maybe evaluating a behavior and having that completely define a student and their capabilities in the class, inside and outside of the classroom. One last example I can share is that we often will bring parties together, meaning students, teachers, student teachers, to be able to dialogue about what it is that is the root causes maybe affecting some of the conflict that is arising between folks or between groups. And so we give folks the opportunity to then be able to really reflect on and prepare ways that they see making the situation right, be able to move forward, and be able to co-create solutions. And that way we're keeping more kids in school and feeling like they belong, and we're getting educators to really see the value in co-creating those solutions.
Hi, I'm Carla Cedillo Fuentes, and I am the Community Building Initiative Lead in the ABC neighborhood in West Anaheim.
What is community building about, and why did you decide to get involved in the field?
So when I think about community building, I really think about what does community mean to those people, right? You're not trying to come in and tell someone what community should mean, what they should be feeling. And that's the reason that I got involved in the specific field, the specific position, because it's really about empowerment. It's really about coming to the community and not saying these are your issues. It's more asking, what is it that you want to do with your community, and how do you think that can happen? And I think that really empowers people a lot more, and that's a lot more inspiring for them to find their own purpose and help fulfill that, and not just meet your needs, but their needs.
What kind of positive impact have you seen in the communities thanks to OC Human Relations, or your specific community?
So in the ABC neighborhood, I think before OC Human Relations, there was a lot less trust in the community towards outside entities, just because the community had a couple of organizations or people or whoever it was come to them and say, we're going to help you, we're here to help you. And they would ask all of these questions, they would take all of these surveys, and really they would just sort of leave after that. Nothing really happened. And I think with OC Human Relations, they were able to find someone that truly believed in the community, and someone that was willing to not do something necessarily for the community, but do it with the community. And I think that was more impactful, because now that other organizations and entities are realizing the potential that ABC has and the power that these residents have, the residents are also more open to accepting that, to coming in and working alongside other people. So I think OC Human Relations has really helped empower these residents, and also just shown them that they have so much to give, and just sort of help direct that.
What goals does your team have in improving the communities you are assigned to?
So specifically in the ABC neighborhood, our team, what I love is that our team didn't decide anything. The people that made the decision are the residents who live there, are the people who live there. And so when they were asked, what do you want to work on in your community, they decided to work on safety. And I think that was really important that they choose it, because then they're invested in it. And so they want to improve the safety in their community. They want to decrease crime in their community, specifically for their children and families. They see a lot of younger children, a lot of teenagers, and they don't really want them to be pulled into a world where they're going to be stuck there and their opportunities are going to be limited. So I think it's really about not just safety, but really empowering these youth to create those opportunities for themselves.
Sort of talked a little bit about it, but what kind of activities are accomplished in the communities to make them a safe place for everyone?
Yeah, so the community kind of does a lot of different types of activities. My favorites are the big events that really encompass all of the community, and that would be 2 annual that we have, which is Dia del Niño and then also Barrio Run. So Dia del Niño is just sort of a time where you're inviting all the community to bring out their kids, have some fun, really learn different resources. So we have the police department there in a capacity of, you're not policing, you're here to meet people and make relationships with the school district, with Fun on Wheels, with kids having a good time in these community spaces, in their community, just seeing their potential for, we can have fun and be safe and be with our families and still be in this community. And also Barrio Run, which is coming up, and it's about building that community through, running around your community, being able to see the differences from 2-3 years ago, and just seeing everyone come together, for health, for safety, for community, and having a good time, and just being able to have fun. Because I think sometimes we're so focused on the work and the output that we forget that this is supposed to be fun. People are growing up here and they want to have fun. So I think events that really just sort of unify everyone are the ones that make the biggest collective impact.
What are some goals you have accomplished that made you proud?
So goals that we've accomplished, and I say we, and I'm talking about the Grupo de Padres en Acción, which is what the resident group calls themselves. And I think for goals that they've set out for themselves that they've accomplished would be, one of them is even as simple as getting lighting in their community. For 10 plus years there has been these community spaces where there is no light, so there's no life, and all of it represents is danger and crime and people not wanting to go in there because you never know what you're going to find. And even just being able to advocate to the city that these lights are important and these kids are using these spaces but they need light, and having that actually come through and become a reality, I think was something where really tangible, where it clicked to them. Our actions create action, and so really helping teach them the cycle of the power of themselves. So I think that's just one of the many accomplishments.
Our last special guest has background knowledge about the dispute resolution program and how it works. He believes that mediation is a better alternative to resolving conflict rather than going through the court system, and that provide a higher probability of creating a lasting agreement. Please welcome Marco Ortega. I was wondering about the kind of conflicts that you have mostly helped mediate, and how does mediation work?
So the conflicts that we mediate here, we mediate a variety of conflicts. In the court system specifically, we mediate small claims, civil harassment, and unlawful detainer cases, as well as judgment debtor. In family court, we also do divorce cases, so anything from division of assets to child custody, paternity, all of those subjects. In the office, we mediate pretty much any dispute as long as both parties are willing to mediate and meet with us, we can mediate their conflict.
What do you believe is the importance of mediation to OC Human Relations, and in your own personal opinion?
So mediation is important because it provides a low-cost opportunity for people to resolve conflict in a way that is much more likely to create a lasting agreement. You go through the court system and it's a long drawn-out process, and it can become very emotional, and there's always going to be a winner and a loser when you go through that system. Mediation provides the opportunity for a win-win solution, to come up with an agreement that is outside of the box. And I think that's why it's important both to the agency and to me as well, that people get this opportunity to really creatively problem solve, because nobody knows the conflict as well as they do. So they should be the ones to come up with the resolution.
Let's say a person wants to become a mediator. What kind of training do they have to complete?
So if somebody's interested in mediating with us, we would require them to first complete a 40-hour basic mediation training. And that can be done either with our agency or at one of the other agencies that offers it, both here and elsewhere throughout the state. If they have training from somewhere else, as long as they can provide verification of that training, they would be able to volunteer with us.
And lastly, are there different kinds of mediation training?
Yes, so there is the basic mediation training that gives you really the fundamentals of mediation, and that can be taken to really mediate any other type of case. But beyond that, we offer specific trainings for specific types of cases. So our agency offers training for civil harassment cases, which are restraining order cases, unlawful detainer training, which is eviction cases. We also do divorce mediation training. So for individuals interested in mediating those types of cases, we have a comprehensive 40-hour training for that as well. And beyond that, we offer advanced trainings in family subjects. So things such as ex-spouse calculations, judgment packets, things like that.
We have Irma Zamora, a wonderful bilingual office assistant, who will answer a question for us. If someone wants to do a volunteer internship program, how does it work?
So there are different ways you can go about it. We do have an online form. So if you go to our website and go to our volunteering tab, there should be an online form that we receive on our end, and I start processing. I usually either delegate it to the appropriate person. So if you want to go, depending on what team you might fit in best, or I call them back, communicate with the person back to see, to investigate further where they might fit better. Sometimes they already are affiliated with school programs, so that we try to get people who are students into an internship program. And actually Marco was very helpful and already kind of helped establish a pretty good internship kind of outline for interns, right? And so if you're already affiliated with a school, we already have that template to go off of, and we just go from there. If you're already affiliated with the dispute resolution program somehow, you do mediation, send you there. If you want to do more community building work, I usually send you to the community building team. And if you want to do more school work, the Bridges or RJ or RSP program actually will be the programs that you would go to. I just handle the day-to-day kind of processing, and we'll make sure that everything on your, that have all your contact information and that you're a solid person.
For more information about OC Human Relations and to learn more about the outstanding staff, go to www.ochumanrelations.org.